Since December 12, 2004, we have been with the martial law. During the times of martial law, there are no civil authorities, which means states, police departments, judicial systems are all closed. The guidelines for that are filed under the War Powers claims at U.S. SOCOM at MacDill Air Force Base, which I filed in 2007. So there's 1,000 pages there on the guidelines for those who want to do the due diligence and the search on that. Also simultaneously in the martial law, all laws, all Senate, and all representation is also closed, which means they cannot pass laws against us anymore, against the people, and the laws and the rules and regulations of the laws are in the palm of the hand of the Commander-in-Chief, and that's me. I'm also Chief Judge simultaneously because the Commander-in-Chief of the martial law also maintains the position as Chief Judge, which goes hand in hand with my takedown of the U.S. Supreme Court on October 1st of 2004 when I became Chief Judge of the Federal Judicial System, as well as Chief Judge of the U.S. Supreme Court. Because the U.S. judicial system, both state and federal, county, and city, are all flying yellow fringed flags in their courtroom, those flags are not registered anywhere on the planet and in violation of Title 36, Section 176, subsection G, which means they're adding things to the flag, which now creates a foreign fiction, creating all judges worldwide into a fiction scenario where the courts are simply actors. They're not legal courts. There is no solution. There is no fee for freight. There is nothing going on in the courtroom except harvesting the people of the world. Became knowledgeable and it got my first judgeship in April of 2001 as a federal judge out of Casper, Wyoming. I became Chief Judge of the U.S. Supreme Court on October 1st, 2004, where the U.S. Supreme Court police joined with my contract. We got it logged in at the clerk's office, and I became Chief Judge of the United States. The importance of relevance of this is, at a later date that year, I ended up conducting a court-martialing, and because I was Chief Judge, I could move into a position as Commander-in-Chief for the martial law because I already had my credentialing, not only as Postmaster General with my filing in 1999, but my filing in 2000 with the Post Office, but also my filing with the U.S. Supreme Court as Chief Judge. This gave me the credentials, and this is why they had to allow the court-martial to happen, and it happened every 45 days in Washington, D.C. at the mall. The value of the flag, the Title IV flag, is if you comprehend and study the law of the flag, those who know this, I am the bearer and ship owner of that flag. So the federal contractors have to come through me in order to move their cargo or their concepts from country to country, port to port, and there are specific terms built within the quantum banking system that put in the tariffs and the policies and the taxation for fee for freight for the federal contractors to join that flag. As the Postmaster General, I tied in through the law of the flag the capacity to allow tariffs, fees, and freights for cargoes to be used for federal contractors. Simultaneously, I also blocked former contractors of the flag's capacity to negotiate contract from one country or one person or one entity to another. So what this meant is that the collecting taxes by the federal contractors and the federal post office, they were trespassing and stealing my rights and my jurisdiction to trick the businessmen of the world, to trick the business corporations of the world to think that they had a position to create customs policies and tariffs to move cargo from point A to point B, as well as negotiate treaty from one country to another. This was a ruse upon the American corporations, business corporations, as well as the world business corporations and the American businessmen and the world businessmen of the world. I'm coming forward now to share that I am open for business and that they can come to me to be correct so that they can do business in a fair way from country to country, nation to nation, in a grammar construct that creates fairness so that the attorneys can't argue about subjective interpretation of what words mean. Words will mean what they say and say what they mean in a now space condition to create performance forever.